Sophia and Dare come to you with what if Deku was part of sort of a corpse to help protect heroes. I had to kind of come up with the name of it, but I'm sure I will in the middle. Alright, let's get it started. So basically, Deku starts in a normal sort of family, except once he turns 5, he receives his quirk. Now this quirk is sort of like Arsenal, where if he knows how to build stuff, he can build it, as long as he has the same materials, right? The needed materials. That includes the ammunition that goes inside of it. So basically, he carries around a backpack full of sort of little mechanical stuff, pencil sharpeners that he just practices making and demaking, because he can deconstruct something in his hand, as long as he also knows how to deconstruct. So basically, he starts to learn about all this stuff and mechanical machinery, but he finds that stuff like printer or stuff that's any more complicated than a pencil sharpener is really hard to do until he's around 10. But then he starts to do that type of stuff, like heaters, stuff like that, computers sometimes, if he knows exactly how to build them. So once he turns around 10, his father tells him that he needs something to do. He needs a direction in his life instead of just heroes and pencil sharpeners. Deku says, like what? He says, like the army. You need some direction on. He's like, okay, I'll try it. I'll see how I like it. Basically, first day in army camp, hell, he hated it. But he did get in massive shape than he was before. He liked this. He found this to be his purpose. Also, a lot of the stuff that they had in military camp, like the basic training guns, he could deconstruct and make them much more powerful to cheat a little bit. But once they figured out his quirk, they realized what he's been doing with the training guns. So he learned that lesson and continues on his training, sort of, for the army. Since he was 10, he's been in this sort of militaristic army that is very powerful, comparatively at least, to other armies. For only being 25 men in this squadron sort of thing, they have like a flyer and stuff. They only have one of each man, right? But he's considered sort of the arsenal man. If you want a gun, just ask him, because he starts researching all these guns and stuff, and he starts to get really into this stuff. So it becomes like a hobby, just like looking for all the work, and constructing them in his hand makes him feel very powerful. So like that. And whenever somebody wants to see a gun, he's like, okay, let me try that. He makes like a BFG from the games, from the Doom. However, it just starts shook. It's like it's not real science, so it doesn't really work. It shoots out like a little tiny particle. At least that's the as much as he could imagine, at least. So basically, he's like, that's cool anyways. I did it, kind of. It was just kind of a light thing poking people. That's about it. So he starts working on that a lot more, and this is when he turns around 15. This is when he starts, 14, sorry. This is when he gets inducted into this sort of hero program, where it's sort of like the Suicide Squad, where he would, what if the heroes, they couldn't trust the heroes? Like, what would happen then? Like, what if All Might just turned a villain? What would they do? They need somebody to do stuff for them other than heroes. Like, whole agency thing is working for now, but what if it just shuts down? Like, what if the villains get smarter? They need a backup plan. So, they make the Suicide Squad. Instead of inducting villains, they have villains. Old villains. Ones that are basically hired from being villains, but were captured anyways. Sort of like Stain after he got caught. He just hit. So, basically, like those guys, right? Like, some pretty good villains. When he starts meeting, out of all of the squadron, he's chosen to be the best because of his just general skill with guns and being able to craft them to any situation, being able to get out of multiple of them. They tell him that he's going to be the most trustworthy one, and as such, he needs to be like a team leader basically, and get them going. So basically, once he immediately gets in there, he turns into like his kind of drill sergeant mode, where he just starts harassing them, like yelling as hard as he can and stuff, trying to get them motivated and stuff. Which doesn't work at first because, he's like 14. But once they realize the extent of his power, like when, I would say one of the old villains, when the fire guy that's usually sticking to himself and like life and stuff in the background doesn't listen to him and doesn't say yes sir or some shit like that. Deku talks straight to him and he shoots fire in his face, but Deku had already dodged that shit and gone under his arm, breaking it, sort of throwing him over his shoulder, splaying him down on the ground. And he's just like defeated already. He's like, "Is that it? That's all you got, maggot? Get up then. You're not even worth the time beating up." He gets him back up, and they start their. Everybody's like, "Oh shit!" Like, I'm gonna be that guy, 14-year-old. No, thank you. So basically, Deku kind of gets them in shape, kind of gets them to listen to him and stuff by earning their respect in fights. However, he did not win all of them, as, a lot of them were not gunfights, so he kind of lost all of those, but once it came to Deadshot, him and Deadshot were dead equal, like, because of Deku being able to make a mortar. You'd think it would be, like, equal, but Deadshot is a very, very powerful guy and smart, so he's not going to sit in one place. He most likely, Deku, as he takes out the rocket launcher, is Deadshot to his left. He tries to turn around, but Deadshot's already behind him and taking him out. So basically, Deku can't really get the upper hand by getting a better gun. So he gets better in general with just technique. During this time, his dad dies and leaves him his favorite revolver. No, this happened before. What am I talking about? When he was 10, his father died. After he went into the same squad, his father died in combat, the Suicide Squad, the original one. His dad died and left him a revolver, which was the first gun that he ever deconstructed and reconstructed. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. And I was very proud of it. So basically, Deku has this gun by his side every time they go into combat. And some of the crew members dying, like the Boomerang guy and Crocodile dude. So that happens, and Deku and his Suicide Squad, after the death of Crocodile guy, are actually pretty sad about that. Like, Crocodile guy was kind of nice. I mean, he was a crocodile, but I mean, he was kind of a nice guy. They were really saddened by that. But they were tasked on another mission, having to suppress their emotions even more than they already do. Probably not great for them. But Crocodile guy, rest in peace. So basically, this is once Deku turns 15. They're sent on. There's this gigantic villain attack. All Might had gathered all the villains that he could find, and sent out all the smallest 100 weaker Nomus out into one of the biggest cities. It was pure havoc, as All Might and Endeavor were fighting amongst themselves while fighting the Nomus. When they dealt with Nomus and villains, underground they figure out that there's a gigantic bomb that was planted underground under the city, as All Might had gotten info about it, but was in the middle of fighting. They were tasked with taking it out themselves. Walking throughout this sewage system, they're trying to find it as fast as they can, for it might blow before they find it. Suddenly, Deku hears some sort of sludge sound, as all the rest of the squad keeps on walking throughout. He signals for them to keep going, as he looks throughout until he sees Deadshot walk out with different mannerisms than usual. Deku takes out his gun and almost fires it straight towards Deadshot, missing his head barely. As Deadshot's body automatically reacts, the sludge villain had latched onto him. He says, "The hell, man! I thought this would work. They told me I get a free body." He takes out both of the guns of Deadshot, as Deadshot's sort of quirk activates, as he's just barely missing Deku, as Deku creates a shield in his left arm, blocking all the bullets. He keeps on firing under his hip with the silenced, as he transforms silence into an AK, letting go of the shield to make the AK have much more, making the barrel of the AK much shorter, allowing him to have some body armor around his face to protect him from shots. He keeps on firing the AK in the underground city, on the sewage. He yells for the rest to just keep on going, as he'll deal with this. He keeps on firing, missing most of his bullets, as the sludge villain had protected Deadshot from bullets, as Deku expected. If he tires him out from catching the bullets, maybe one can go through stunning Deadshot, which then he can use AP bomb to get rid of the sludge villain. However, the sludge villain wasn't going to let that happen so easily, as he's kicked straight in the back, kicked down to the ground. Deku picks up, makes a rocket launcher under himself, blowing it straight in the face of Deadshot. The villain is seared, picking back up Deadshot. Deadshot's given a little bit more control, being able to open up his eyes. Deku tries to tell Deadshot to just let it go, don't let it control you, as the sludge villain forced him to grapple with Deku. Deku wraps him around back to his arm, putting his arm around Deadshot. The other grabs the silence pistol, bringing it up to Deadshot's head. Deadshot says, "Do it. Just do it. Complete the mission." He says, I can't. Just do it!" As he fires, he kills Deadshot. His blade spatter across his stomach. The sludge villain says, "Wow, you actually did. That's a shame for you, because now I got your..." Shut up. As he put up an EMP, punching the sludge villain and knocking it back, throwing an EMP into its mouth. Kicking it, he kicks it very far as it explodes with sludgeness all over. Deku continues walking as he hears the rest of them scream. He runs up sewers, feeling bad about what he just did, but he has to keep on moving. Rivalry had great heights, but not this far. He wished there was a way to save him. He walks out the sewers, finding the rest of his team, as the fire guy had just been compressed into a small ball. Toga, a small girl, grabs it, eating it. What the hell just happened? He takes out his gun, shooting at both of them. He forgot that he had the suppressed pistol out, so he missed most of his shots. Even when he did hit Toga right in the leg, it still wasn't enough to stop them from retreating. As he hears Tari, the girl with the katana up ahead, he ignores the retreating foes as he rushes back up to Katari, who is deflecting a gigantic blast of fire. She slices through it, and the fire guy comes out wakes back up, starting shooting fire back at who he would assume would be almost like Endeavor's flames, but they were blue. This was, of course, the other guy, the flame guy, Igor. So Igor just explodes the place with fire. He's standing right in front of the gigantic bomb. As the bomb has a countdown on it, Deku says for Katari to rush him as fast as he can. Katari rushes straight behind Igor as Toga catches up with Igor, slashing at Katari until Toga is shot in the side by Deku's suppressed pistol. He changes it to an AK, but by that time, the enemy fire guy had started covering the whole place. Unable to even walk anywhere, he was surrounded by flames. Katari, unable to, Compressed Man is constantly charging her. She slices off one of Compressed Man's hands, getting back but then shot by fire. She raises her sword back up one last time until Deku, fire guy, shuts up, taking all the fire, and then we're bursting it back at the fire guy, destroying him. But Toga's bleed damage had taken out bleed. Basically, the fire guy was bleeding from being stabbed by Toga several times. He bleeds out just a second after, leaving Katari to fight off the fire guy, and Deku do nothing. He has to stand there as all of his metal, he already used most of his metal, as she blocked the last fireball from killing Deku. Her sword breaks. The sword causes a massive shockwave that sends everyone in the room flying, including the bomb. The bomb falls on its back, as does the fire guy. All of his flames have gone out. Deku picks up her sword, repairing it as fast as he can. He can't do it, but he can use it as a short stabbing tool. He jumps onto fire guys on top of Dabi. Holding up the sword, he slashes down onto his neck, killing him. He lifts up the blade from his neck, the blood still staining the sword fully. Well, half of it. He looks down, saying, "Damn it! Why? Why did she have to? She had a future. She had 100 She had a husband to revenge. What do I have? The military. My father's dead. My mother, I don't even see anymore. What the hell do I have? Right about now, he's getting survivor's guilt. Until he sees out of the side of his eye, he sees Toga and Mr. Compress trying to limp through a portal. He takes out his revolver, shooting 3 exact bullets that he was almost very sure of, but they ended up missing and only hit the ankle of Toga, making her trip into the portal, her falling through, and him seeing just a glimpse of Kyogiri as he makes a rocket or RPG shooting it at the portal, but the portal is too fast, destroying the mine. Destroying the system and crumbling the place to the ground as he struggles to limp his way out of the place. Before he can get out, Aizawa arrived on the scene, as he was supposed to be the one to go in and get the bomb, but all he found was just Deku, bruised and battled and scarred, just sitting there. Survivor's guilt, just everything that could be wrong with a soldier after a battle. Aizawa, sees this and says, "You need help." He says, "I need a doctor. A medical one and a therapist." "I don't need a therapist. I just need a sense of duty, that's all." "How about protecting kids then? How about protecting lives?" "I just did. You're welcome. You should be thanking me, not regaling me." As he walks away, Aizawa says, "These kids need protection. The city needs protection too. I'll make it your job then." "How much?" 2,000. Every month. 2,000. You're either a fool or a smart bastard. And I don't hope it's one of those. I'll do it. But first, hospital. Now, he pulls out like a bullet from his chest. Anyways, that'll do it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be getting to part 2 in a little while. Actually, I think I'm just gonna roll with this, get it done today, edit it tomorrow, and I'll get it to you guys. Thank you for watching this. If it doesn't get enough views, I won't edit it, but I'll surely have it stocked up. So if you want to see that, just subscribe if you want to see more, and like it if you want to tell me that you loved it. And I'll see you, world, sometime, somewhere.